everybody, and welcome back to World Wednesday. Today we'll be looking at this server here behind me. So this is the Funbox server, as they like to call it. I still refer to it as the Cloud. This world was actually the precursor to my Ruling the Cloud series. I called it Conquering the Cloud. The reason this is, this was the spawn area, and you would kind of just walk up the staircase over here when you joined. And don't mind this burning landscape here behind me. So, yeah, I joined the server when I left the Control Elite server, which unfortunately I don't have a proper save file of. So we're catching up a little bit faster with the worlds. Now the first thing I saw was this thing here, and funny enough, I thought it was supposed to be some kind of server logo thing. It kind of reminded me of like server bars, or connection bars for like a phone or signal bars. So and at the time I was told it was called the Cloud server, so I still thought this place was called the Cloud server. So I wound up using that as like a symbol on most of the videos, as like on the card, the thumbnail. And just kind of following this over here. So I'll kind of get into why everything is painted my colors and why there's a giant statue of me here in front of a giant wrestling ring, and I look amazing, by the way. So at the end of the server's life, before we were planning to reset, I built this shop here, the Zafs. This is the original Zafs that I made, the first one that I ever made on a server, and basically I had a plan with this one. I would sell all these items here from the villager trades I had done, all the shovels, the swords, the pickaxes, all that stuff. And as you can see, there's a couple people here who who have joined. Basically, what you would do is you take one of these books here and you would sign it, and you'd put it in this chest, and then the book itself would be sent upward through this here. This was an item elevator, and it would go all the way up to the cloud here, this smog-looking cloud. And as you can see, I made a way to access it, but the water was supposed to make it look like raindrops. Unfortunately, it's a little too high. You couldn't see it. I'm a little disappointed by that. So you see here, like, a whole bunch of people signed these books. Arnday's Soul. So there was like a long, just complicated way for me to do something, and it was a bunch of stuff I wrote, but as you can see on the bottom here, something's interesting. It's a bunch of these random, like, symbols. Now I don't remember how I did it, but basically each one corresponded to the first word of every page, sort of, or the first or second word. I forget how it goes. So basically, I here give permission to prank signer of the document. That was how I got people to essentially, as you can see here, it also says, final notice, read the pages before this and agree to all the listed information. So anybody who signed the book was technically agreeing to that because it was on the first page, even though it was kind of a hidden code of sorts. So that was basically my way of saying, you have given me permission to prank you. And once enough people signed the book, I decided I would prank the spawn area. Now, this was like right around the time we were gonna reset, so it wasn't so bad, but it wasn't really cleaned up either. It was just we just switched over. And here's the KCP shop. I think it was KCS or KCB. I never really got the name right. There's a whole bunch of stuff around here. My shop. And basically one of the first people who signed the book was Bamcrab, the owner of the server. And this tunnel here leads to his base. This used to be all rainbows, rainbow-colored glass, and I switched it to my colors, and it looks, personally, I think it looks a lot better. But that's just me. Now he was doing kind of like an underwater base here. I wonder about this purple sheep here. And I didn't do anything in here. This should just be the regular color, except for this. This was probably just garbage in my inventory I wanted to get rid of. So continuing out this way, you see this. Now I don't remember why I made like a giant deer with one antler, mostly because I probably ran out of resources. But I don't remember why I made it. There was a reason for everything. This one kind of flies over my head. I don't remember. But I made him a giant deer. Okay, so back here at spawn, we saw this in the distance. This was the first prank I ever did on the server, and this was to a person named Better Than Gray. Now, he was actually starting to, like, slow down. He wasn't on the server much. I actually never met him when he was on the server. We happened to play a couple mini games with the other members a while back, a little before I joined. And I pranked his little village here. I called it the Kokiri Village Prank. And basically, I made it like that village in the Legend of Zelda game. Here's the sign for all that stuff. So this house here was supposed to be like the Skulltula house with a bunch of spiders in here that I named, but obviously I think we've switched to peaceful. And oh, here's one of them. So I actually named a bunch of the chickens. In Ocarina of Time, you're supposed to collect a bunch of chickens and give them to this girl. And oh, you know what? Let me turn my music on. I think it's off, but I think this never got set off. And I'm really proud of it. Yeah, so I actually went and made the Song of Storms in this windmill. I had hoped that if he had come on, he would have moved the minecart and set it off and seen all the chickens and the spiders and things, but unfortunately it was in vain, and this prank actually cost me quite a bit of resources, at least I think 5 name tags. I forget how many chickens I made, along with a bunch of redstone and note blocks, which kind of went unseen, unfortunately. Anyway, so talking about kind of the pranks of Zaffs, let's head on over and see another one, shall we? Okay, so here we are on the Nether Hub. This place was actually built. I really like how it looks, how it turned out. This place was built before I joined. As you can see, there's a giant hole in the roof of the Nether here. Now, this was actually done by Arnday for about a month. He just kept growing dark oak. In those chests up there's a bunch of dark oak wood and other things, and they basically punched a giant hole in the roof of the Nether, and that wound up being the base of the hub. So, and it turned out really nice. And we're gonna go and see his base right now. Yep. So over here is Arnday's base. Now when I joined, I saw Arnday's base, and the first thing I said to him is that, Minecraft, you don't build circles, you build squares. There's no circles in Minecraft, you are a blasphemer. So I pranked him, and here's the sign. Hey Arnday, you blasphemer. Brought to you by Zaffs. Don't forget your sub reward. So, as you can see here, I've basically coated his entire base in cubes, for the most part. Just 2 of them, 2 out of the 4 floating circles here. Now, this one I left alone because he had his villagers here. But, yeah, so this one over here, I kind of put in the corners to make the base of it a giant square. And the tree in the middle is coated, so it looks like it's, it's in my colors, and I actually, to make it look more like a tree, I did kind of levels here. As you can see, it's kind of, the purple's out a little bit more than the black, and personally, I think that turned out amazing. Now, the big main attraction of this prank is this giant cube right here. This was what took me a long time. Just the gathering of the resources took me forever, and actually building it, it took me a while. But like I said, this was around the time the server was kind of slowing down, so a lot of people weren't really coming on anymore, and I was able to do this. And I'm sure they saw it because I did a series on it before we actually reset. Personally, I think his base looks a lot better now. There's no circles in Minecraft, it's squares. So now he has a bunch of squares in my colors, and it looks great. Okay. Alright, so the next place we'll be hitting up, is someone who pranked me around the time we were finishing, down this tunnel right here. Now, this is actually Starfish Black's place, and him and Arnday had a thing going where they would hide a diamond block in each other's base. It was a silly thing that they did, and actually there was something in his base that I think recently they did to hide it because... Yeah, last time I saw it, it was hidden underneath this glass, but it's not here anymore. Which means... So, yes, Starfish Black's base. I pranked him, but he's the only person who actually started cleaning it up. This outside area, if you go back to my Conquering the Cloud series, you'll see that this entire area was actually coated with my stuff. I don't remember exactly what it looked like, but he got hit a second time before the server was going to reset. And if we head inside here, you can kind of already see it. This was from mine. I made like a giant gate here. That neighbor line is a reference to something that we'll see later at my base. So, as you can see here, my banners are still up. And this is from somebody else. This is, you can see it on the left. Oh, hey, I am still here. Okay, so we didn't clean up everything. I made a giant statue of myself here with like a wrestling belt. And I made it look like I was holding up the ceiling. I really like how the belt turned out. Unfortunately, I messed up the numbers. And it looks like I'm being squished by the ceiling. I like to think of it as me holding it up. So this melon here wasn't me, and it's a giant melon filled with water. Actually, hold on, let's get a night vision potion so we can actually see inside it a little bit better. I know it's around here somewhere. Ah, there we go. It's at the very top. So we drink our night vision potion so we can see a little better, and we go on in. Here's that diamond block I was talking about. So Arnday hid it here, and he did this one with Spaceman Rhino. And he made a giant melon at Starfish Black's base. Just a little after the time I pranked him, and he started cleaning it up. Yeah. He got hit with quite a bit of pranks. Oh, the night vision potion makes this all red. I like it. Okay, so the next place we'll be seeing is my actual base, and I made this giant bridge here. This was actually something I designed in the Control Elite series, but that server got reset rather early in my time on it, so I kind of wanted to rebuild it here and get more out of it. So basically I set up a way so that you can travel to my portal on the other side using minecarts, and there isn't one in here, so we'll put one in. So basically all you do is you press this button here, you get in the minecart and you push forward, and off we go. It looks a little silly. I'm in the carpet here, but it's a way that basically you can either walk to my base portal, or you can take a horse, or you can ride a minecart. I don't know where that portal went that we just passed, but yeah. So I'll see you when I get to my base. Alright, so this is my base on the Funbox server, as I still refer to it as the Cloud. And this is, yeah, hello neighbor, love star. So Starfish Black actually pranked me here, and he covered my entire cloud here in melons, or not melons, mushrooms. And it actually kind of messed up my villager trading. It made me, it made a bunch of mobs spawn, and these guys were actually killed at the time he pranked me. But I kept going, and obviously I've breeded a whole bunch more. And I think this guy is my perfect blacksmith. By the look of it, he probably is, and I think I had 2, or I was close to 2. Now, what a perfect blacksmith was back in, I believe 1.7 of Minecraft, if you did villager trading, you could actually make a blacksmith that had all of the items, and his trades would always reset whenever you did an iron trade at the end. Now, I haven't actually touched villager trading since they added mending, and that's all changed. But doing it this way took me quite a while. As you can see in these chests here, I have a bunch of stuff that I traded with them. Whole bunch of resources that I wound up getting just to trade and get and make more trades and keep evolving the villagers and such. Yeah. Now, I actually started down below, but this cloud here, I designed it off of a build my friend did, Vincent, as I've said in many other videos. He does kind of my favorite kind of builds, the smaller ones. He has a way to make a small build look really nice and complicated, and he did a house similar to this one. I kind of designed this one based off of his and made it into my own. And my stuff is all still here, which is nice. Didn't have really too much stuff, and you know what? Yeah, they're still named: hot pants, bulletproof vest, shower cap. But I didn't name my weapons. Yeah. So, continuing on, just looking at this place. Ah, there it is. This is the wool. Yeah, so that prank I did on Arnday took a lot of wool, and you kind of saw it while we were flying around. We'll get into it later, but this tree here was another part of Vincent's build. I recreated his custom tree here. I thought it looked really nice. It fits the build really well. And down here is the sheep. Now I have a whole batch of black sheep and purple sheep, and this is where I did all of my farming for the wool I did to prank Arnday. I filled all these chests here, and oh, I actually still have some. But these chests here were all filled with wool that I used to prank him, and I was basically just watching like Twitch streams at the time, and I would shear a bunch of sheep, sit there, wait for it to grow back, shear a bunch of sheep, and I had a black... Oh, no, I still have a bit of black wool. Now that's leftover stuff. I had planned to prank a lot more of his floating islands, but just building that giant cube took me forever, so I just kind of left it at that. Now I still got to clean up a bit of this place. This was how I got some of the villagers up here. I think I have like a villager curing station somewhere in this direction. And I really like how the portal turned out. I kind of made it look like ancient relic of like a structure that was broken apart. This here was actually my place to where I was going to house my animals, my horses that I would ride. And oh, yeah, there's still one of them here. Realistically, I wouldn't have any way to get them out. And, oops, I meant to fix that. And I was going to set up kind of like slime blocks on the bottom here so that they would just kind of, I'd be able to ride them down and get all around the place and all that jazz. Now, going back to the main island here with my melons, I have a little hidden secret underground. If we go in the cloud, it's actually hollow. And this is where I kept a lot of the resources I collected. I did my enchanting here. And I had a little bit of a bread maker right here. A bunch of wheat and stuff. And I used to have a snowman here, which is where I gathered my snow to actually make these clouds. And it looks like he's died somehow. And this here was my AFK fishing area. And I would just stand here, turn it on, I would fish. It would drop rods into me, and I would use them until they broke. And all of the items would be collected and put into chests, which I divided up eventually here. And as you can see, I did a lot of fishing. This is where I got a lot of the resources I would also use, like my name tags to print. Better Than Gray. Bunch of stuff, and a whole bunch of enchanted books. And I did have puffer fish, but I don't know where I put all that stuff. And over here looks like where I did my cooking. Yep, I just used blaze rods. Found them to be a very, very reusable source of for lighting furnaces. I don't like using coal because I actually build with coal. It's a building block that I like to use. Oh, down here. This was actually one of the later clouds I built. Now I made it closer to the ground. This is actually the level that the regular clouds are at, and it looks different from the other ones. The reason for that is because I wanted this to be like a mechanical cloud. I wanted it to look like it was a fake cloud. One of these pearl dispensers that you saw on the last World Wednesday server. Oh, I'm going to fall. I should put another one here. This way we get teleported. A lot of damage from mobs. Back up over here. And this was, so I have a bread maker here. This was my way of getting wheat. I don't remember whose design this is. It's not mine, personally. And over here is a way to make beef from cows. I would breed them up, get them to walk over here by standing on this side. They would follow me when I had the wheat. And then I would just take, I think my sword's in here, right? Yep. I would just take my sword, kill them all up, and then the items would be collected into the chest below, and I would get tons of food from them. But more so, I needed the leather. That was what I used to do a bit more trading with these guys. Now there's a cloud here behind them, which is obviously very much incomplete, as most of the builds on these World Wednesday servers are. There's always one build that's never really finished. This was going to be where I housed these guys. I would make like a bunch of floors for the villagers, and I would divide them each up by what their job was at the time. I would make a special place to have the perfect villagers, the perfect farmer, perfect librarian, all that stuff. This here is where I did my breeding, and funny enough, the first time I did it, I actually I left it on for a little too long, and there's a whole bunch of villages everywhere on the island. Some were even down below on the ground that rode the water down, and it wasn't fun. I don't know if it crashed the server, I don't remember, but it definitely crashed my game, and I had to rejoin and just go around killing them all. But this here, other than that, is my prized island, or I should say cloud. This has probably one of the rarest things I've ever seen in Minecraft. This has my pink sheep. And I think I named him. Yep, First. So this was the, when I was coming to this base one time from spawn, I was walking here. I saw this pink sheep in the wild. I've never seen a pink sheep in the wild before. I didn't think it was possible to get a pink sheep in the wild. I knew it was really rare. And I'm still a little skeptical, thinking that somebody might have just died a pink sheep in the wild for whatever reason. But I collected him up, and I brought him here. I made him his own little shrine on this cloud. I think it turned out really good. There's like a little bit of a water drainage system underneath. That's my way for getting up to this cloud. You can see him, and definitely pink is obviously his colors. There's a little bit of skylighting. But yeah, so basically that's everything to see here on the Funbox server. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of World Wednesday. Obviously, my Conquering the Cloud series, my plan for that series was that I was going to prank almost every member on the server. And the reason I do that is because I like to have a narrative in my series on my channel. Conquering the Cloud was obviously me pranking everyone and taking over, and Ruling the Cloud, my current series, is where I pretend to be the king of the server, which is why my main build on that is a castle. And if you do watch that series, I'm very thankful, but I actually only have about 2 more episodes in that. I'll get more into it in not the next episode, but the following episode next week. Talk more about it. I'm actually going to be ending that series rather soon, and it's around the same time that this series will be kind of starting to slow down. The purpose of this series was for me to kind of go back and see all the worlds I've been in. Obviously, a lot of them with incomplete builds, like this one here. But with every series that I've ended, I always kind of say I will be coming back, or I have plans, or the server isn't finished yet. And that is actually partially true, because I do have plans for all these servers. And since World Wednesday has finally come up to the recent world, be sure to look forward to a sort of new project coming in the future. Now, I don't want to kind of give it away, but I might be doing a new survival Minecraft series that somehow pertains to me dealing with some unfinished builds and unfinished projects of the past. In any case, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of World Wednesday. The series isn't finished yet either. I do have another plan for World Wednesday. Even though I've seen all of my worlds, there are still many other Minecraft worlds out there, some of which I plan to visit. Anyway, till the next world, bye.